Welcome. It's Jim Norton and Sam Roberts.
I thought of you last night.
Thank you very, very much. That's really flattering.
I was watching, I know you want to talk about it, and I want to just say I did not enjoy a lot of part 2.
Yeah,
I thought it was disappointing and slow, and a lot of it had nothing to do with Michael Jackson. I mean, I'm sad that I didn't see the whole thing. I turned it off. I got bored. I mean, I know that the Sydney father killed himself. It was very sad. That's not part of...
At some point, you go like, okay, let's get back to Michael Jackson and the anals and the... Yeah, that's what... But that's what I mean. That's what I was saying yesterday when we were talking about Finding Neverland. And, you know, old Make Apologies for Everyone Travis was like, I don't have a problem with it because it's their stories. They don't have to talk to anybody else because it's their stories.
That is true, Travis.
You know,
I know it's true.
And then that was really...
Part 2 really drove that part home.
They really did. I was like, you know what? Clearly Travis was right. I think that the reason that they had to have therapists in the theater when they aired the full 4 hours at Sundance was because it was like there was a sleep study. Because the second part of that movie, it was like, all right, Wade, like, we don't need to know everything that happened. Wade Robson goes, yeah, and then I started choreographing for NSYNC and Britney Spears, and I was like, don't care. You can't, I understand NSYNC and Britney Spears are like big acts, but you can't start with the king of pop and then go, oh, you know, I also know NSYNC. It's like, cool, J.C. Chazé is the man, but we already had Michael Jackson is the headline.
The only tie-in was that Michael would call and ask about Britney. And there was interesting moments of it, but all that time that was used on their families, that could have been little fucking liner notes. All that shit could have been used interviewing people who were close to him.
Yeah.
Or interviewing people who said he didn't molest them. They should have done a much more balanced documentary. I know they just did it about those two, but they did it about those two because they both said Michael Jackson put his dick in their mouth. That's why they didn't want to do it about anybody who didn't say that.
Of course. I'm not sitting there watching Jimmy, I don't even remember his last name. Well, I'll watch a documentary about Jimmy Norton. When all the facts finally come out, that's going to be a barn burner of a documentary. But, you know, this guy who his biggest claim to fame is he was in a Michael Jackson Pepsi commercial. Like, I'm not watching his documentary unless it's, by the way, there's some sexual abuse going on from the king of pop.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of details these guys gave, and they sound like they're being... I get why the people who say they lied at first, I get why they lied at first. I believe the explanation on why they lied.
Yeah, me too.
But it's like, get somebody else to verify some of this shit.
Or contest it. Like, there's nothing...
Or contest it, yes.
There's nothing wrong. It doesn't hurt. If what you're telling is the truth in a documentary, it never hurts to have the opposing side in it. Like we said yesterday about the West Memphis 3 stuff. You know, when they did 3 documentaries about those West Memphis 3 kids. And even though the purpose of those movies was to talk about how these 3 kids got railroaded.
And to exonerate them, yeah.
And to exonerate them, they talked to every single person that was accusing them of everything.
And you kill my babies? Like that father who became their advocate?
Right.
But yeah, there was guys who were like, yeah, they did it. They absolutely should be killed for this. Like, a lot of people in that documentary thought they were guilty.
Right.
Including me after the first one.
Right.
That didn't convince me that they were innocent, but I still watched the follow-up.
Right. Because you were interested in the story.
Of course, it was a compelling story. It was like Making a Murderer. These fucking documentary makers have got to, like, you have to learn, if you're going to make a documentary, to really show a balanced view, because otherwise it comes off as jaded and it loses me.
Maybe in the echo chamber world that we live in.
Documentaries do that, but I just wish they didn't.
Yeah, to an extent. Some are more than others. Like Michael Moore's documentaries are completely... I think that's why Roger and Me was the one that didn't get an Academy Award nomination, because they said, I don't even think we can consider this a documentary. Everything is used out of context, and the timeline is mixed up, and it doesn't make any sense. But they do, you know, Dinesh D'Souza always has a right-wing documentary coming out that is just showing that side, and I guess it happens because you're looking for either something salacious like this, where we're just presenting the fact that Michael Jackson was, you know, blowing kids, or it's political. We're just trying to hit this one side, and you're gonna have a group of people that agree with you 100%, and you're gonna have another group of people that are furious with you. And either way, it's good for business. Everybody's talking. Well,
if you want to do a documentary, it probably means you have something to say about something.
Right.
And if you have something to say about it, it probably means you have an opinion on it. Like Dear Zachary is a great one, because you know, there was so many crazy things happened, but there was no. It was just the agenda of showing you what happened.
Right.
It meant to be this, and it wound up being that. Like it was what it was. It went wherever it went.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you want them to be.
Yeah, like that Banksy doc that starts off being one
I know
thing where they're
Banksy.
just following. You know him personally?
Yeah, I do.
So you know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us?
Tell you off the air.
Is he a famous person?
No comment.
You're not Banksy, are you?
I'm not saying anything. Yes, sperm Banksy.
Yeah, but you know, they follow around Mr. Brainwash, and then it evolves into this other thing.
Exit through the gift shop.
Exit through the gift shop.
Oh, right.
Although, you know,
It's
they're
one of
also,
my favorite documentaries. Yeah.
It was very good. Yeah.
It's amazing.
that was nominated for Oscar, or it was not.
Yes, it was.
See, but that's a weird one because there is no actual independent verification that that's a real documentary. Even like the whole thing could
What do
be.
you mean? Oh,
There are
sure.
plenty of people who believe that that's a total work of fiction,
It could be.
and it feels on some level.
But-
Either way, it's a great movie.
Sure.
There's enough proof that it's not.
Because Mr. Brainwash is still around doing his bullshit.
Yeah, and there's enough proof that like he was around before all this, and there's uploaded YouTube videos of just the garbage that he was filming
Mm-hmm.
that were posted years before this was even a thing.
So it would have
there's enough evidence that it's a legitimate
the depths
story.
that you would have to go to fake this whole personality.
would be incredible.
And not worth
look
it.
at the JFK assassination.
All right.
Oh man, you're going deep this morning. Yeah, so cool. Yeah, Exit Through the Gift Shop is definitely one that's worth watching, and it really is interesting because it's about this Mr. Brainwash guy who really has very little artistic integrity. By the end of it, is just copying other people's shit, really, and commissioning other people to do his art for him. But what ended
He's
up
still doing it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. What ended up happening was the documentary became such a hit and everybody enjoyed it so much that now there's way more appreciation for Mr. Brainwash than ever before in an ironic sense. Like everybody goes to his galleries, everybody wants a Mr. Brainwash piece now because they know, he's a fraud and that's become part of it. Or at least he's portrayed as that in the
Just
movie.
Garbage.
It is garbage,
Oh,
right?
shit that he puts out now is just good. Some of his older shit is actually really good. And
Is
whether
it
or not
supposed to be bad or no?
no, it's not. Not now. He's not a joke. He's serious, you know? But I mean, I'll get his emails every month or whatever about what he's releasing, and it's just junk. It's just profiting off dead people.
Is that what? Is this like? Do you like the Jimi Hendrix one?
No.
It's
No.
not that good. It's just
No,
like
I mean, he put out some Bob Marley shit. Like, that's the Kate Moss is like, kind of iconic at this point.
The late great Bob Marley,
except
late great genius Bob Marley.
Stones.
except the Kate Moss, like this stuff looks like derivative Andy Warhol stuff.
Sure. But, at least it's
Something.
something.
Mhm.
The shit that he's doing now is just
I think these are terrible.
Mhm.
I did a Stones one. You're right. It's derivative Andy Warhol. They're awful.
Yeah.
I have an original Warhol in my house. I took it down and bored me.
What kind of original Warhol did you
I
have?
don't remember. It was just boring.
How would you end up getting an original? You're not Banksy, are you?
No, it was just the gift.
From whom?
I want to say.
Is it from Banksy?
I'm not saying anything.
Oh my gosh,
I have an original
this is
Warhol.
amazing.
Was it from AW?
Well, it says it on the painting.
Okay.
A period, W period.
Just of course he signs his paintings. That doesn't mean he gave it to you. So stupid. So they aired the second part of
This guy sucks.
Oh,
but I'm
Mr.
so
Brainwash.
He's a character, though.
I'm annoyed at the picture. Marilyn Monroe and the monkey going follow your dreams.
Monkey.
Monkey.
It's kind of fun we like to have
The
around
type
here.
of laughs we have around here.
But really, when you're buying a Mr. Brainwash, you're basically just buying a poster of the artist. It's not about the art at all.
Oh,
It's
they're
just,
terrible though.
it's just about the signature. It's about the fact
Yeah.
that he did it, not about anything that it actually is. Because it's nothing. It's garbage.
They're awful.
They said that about Warhol back in the day.
True.
But he was at least
He was original.
You didn't look at him and say he was derivative. You're like, that guy's fucking whatever you say about him. At least he's original.
Right.
This guy is like, oh Christ, that's shit Warhol stuff.
Right. That's what he's hoping. He's going like, well, if I make shit that's exactly the same as Warhol, and people go, that's shit, then I could say, yeah, it's the same thing you said about Warhol.
I was chilling in Warhol's old condo.
How'd you get up to Warhol's old condo? How'd you end
Somebody
up there?
I know knows someone who owns it. We're chilling.
It's not
Right.
Banksy, is it?
Not Banksy. I went on the roof. Little
Wow.
garden.
Wow.
Mingling.
Who were you mingling with?
Bunch of people.
Wow. Wow, man.
Yeah. Hot
This-
girls.
This really?
Mhm.
Did you end up
No, I didn't.
pounding it?
No, I didn't.
No, you did not.
No, I
Okay,
didn't.
you didn't. Okay, so I'm actually believing this is a true story now.
It certainly is. Except the club soda went home alone.
Yeah, so the second part of Leaving Neverland was on HBO last night. I'm glad that you watched it, Jim. Although, did you watch the first part, or you just took the
No,
info
I
from-
was watching the first part. I took the info from yesterday. It was really good. But I didn't think I needed to see the first part first. We already discussed it. And it
Yeah.
was very good. I'll,
Yeah.
I'll go back and actually watch part one because it is interesting to me. I probably got like a half hour into part one. Then I wound up getting busy. And I said, let me watch some of part two.
Yeah, I mean,
But it bored me.
the first half hour, part one, is also not the most exciting thing in the world. But you can, I mean, I can't believe that this was that both parts were one long doc, because clearly this could have been 2.5 to 3 hours. There
It
was
could
no
have been
reason.
editing down. Yeah.
It went about
How many loads
almost
can I shoot?
what?
Or nothing.
Huh? This went almost 410 total. I think it's 405 is the
202 they both were, I think.
Okay,
Roughly,
so
yeah.
404 then.
Around there, yeah.
Yeah. But they easily could have shaved off an hour and change. Because the second part that and we kind of talked about this yesterday, there was so much of the sexual abuse in that first part that the second part was about Jimmy and Wade, these two guys that are accusing Michael Jackson of touching them when they were kids. And they're what they did after all the sexual stuff had happened, and defending him, and then deciding not to defend him anymore, and their families dealing with it and everything. But it really was just waiting to get to the part where the mothers of these two finally admit, and then we found out that we had been duped. You know, I mean, that was the interesting part. You were just
Sure.
waiting for the moms to finally say. Although there were a couple of key moments from part two. By the way, I did.
Why don't you play the audio?
I did have to watch on delay, because I was so wrapped up in the counter programming that the Jackson family.
Oh, sure. The was it the Wembley concert?
Yes, the Jackson family decided once again to put out counter programming, and they posted at the exact same time that HBO aired this movie. They posted a brand new concert from 1988 from Wembley Stadium. Wembley on the Michael Jackson YouTube channel. And I mean, he was a hell of a performer. But, you know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Did he open with the same song?
no, it's from 88.
Yeah, it was different.
Oh,
tours.
right.
So he hadn't done Jam yet.
Yeah, you think
it
they're-
was right there. You
You
scroll
think they're
past
going to
it
give you
three
like the
times,
same
right?
concert twice, Jim?
I didn't think so, but you never know. I mean, if you put out two Ozzy concerts from the Bark at the Moon tour, of course, give me the same opening.
No, this one was from 88. He hadn't even written Jam
I don't
yet.
know, by the way, is what he opened with. Go ahead.
You're talking about
Yeah.
Ozzy?
It's fine.
Why wouldn't I?
I didn't even know there was an Ozzy song called I Don't Know.
Sure, there was. The opening song, Blizzard of Oz.
Oh.
Cut this out. Humiliate us both.
Yeah, skip forward a bunch, Troy, so we
Yeah,
can
skip to
his
about
socks.
2:30.
yeah, we can get right to his
I want to see him walk out.
Oh yeah, you love his entrances.
I do, yeah. I mean, that's a good performer.
There he is, Michael Jackson in London.
This is 30 years ago.
Now this is Wembley Stadium proper, right? This
Wembley.
is the giant
Oh, yeah.
stadium.
Yeah, Princess Di was there.
This is like 80,000
Charles.
people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it that many people?
Well, that's how many Wembley Stadium can fit.
Charles and Diana.
Biggest artist in the world.
He was.
Come on, man.
Okay.
I thought Travis was paying you a compliment.
Yeah. Turn it a little louder. Oh, man, that's just my headphones. Right? No. That's me. That's got to be nerve-wracking when Di and fucking Charles are there, especially if you know that she's going to be dead soon.
How would Michael know that she was going to be
That's
dead?
a good point. I bet you they were in a fucking box, though.
Oh, you don't think they were in the pit? Oh man,
General admission.
really good insight, Jim. Really,
Yeah.
that's you must be in show business.
Oh,
See-
he's already there. He didn't even walk out.
Well, this is 88, so there was just smoke. There was no rising from the floor.
Sure there was. Kissed
Well,
him in
not-
the 70s.
Not for Michael Jackson, I mean. He rose from the floor in the early 90s.
This is a better song to open with than
Yeah.
Jam.
What is this? Got to be starting something?
Yeah,
He
starting.
was trying to start with the new stuff, though, in 93 or 92,
This
whenever
was not
that
a very
was.
better
eventful
opening song.
opening. What's that?
This is a better opening song.
Yeah, I
It
agree.
is.
Yeah, I think this opening is more about how huge the song is.
Yeah, he looks like he's really singing.
Of course he is.
Why are you
Man.
defending? Wait,
Because he's the greatest performer of our generation.
Cool. Well, Travis has somehow become a bigger Michael Jackson fan than ever in the last week.
Well, it's the lifestyle.
Exactly.
He respects him.
He never mentioned Michael Jackson ever before these documentaries
No, he
aired.
didn't. He just acted like him.
Yeah. Now he's the biggest fan in the world.
What a good,
Yeah.
Greatest performer of all time.
Is he not? Who's better?
Well, in
this generation.
You're only saying that as of Sunday night.
You're right. I didn't know who he was.
It's disgusting.
let's see who's better.
Don't say Ozzy.
Hell of a performer, isn't he?
He sure is.
Yeah.
Great frontman, doing it a lot more. Well, not a lot longer than Michael Jackson. I was saying about a time, but
Yeah, Michael Jackson did it from the time he was a child.
yeah. All right, I'm done watching this.
I like that he sped it up to just let everybody know this is live. You know what I mean? It's not going to sound like the album. Yeah, and in the 90s, it was a concert that we watched yesterday, it was counter-programming to last night's Michael Jackson, or the night before's Michael Jackson doc. I think one of the reasons why he stood up on stage for so long is because at that point, it was the 90s, and it wasn't like, we weren't building and building and building anymore. We were at the point where Michael Jackson was like a god.
Oh, by the way, better performer than Michael Jackson, Slipknot.
You like Slipknot better?
Live, they're awesome.
I'm sure they're great.
They're great.
But, I mean, Michael was actually
sure.
pretty good at...
I like when Corey Taylor starts feuds.
Who did he start a feud with?
Right now, he's shitting on Imagine Dragons, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. He did, though, there were a couple of key moments from last night's Finding Neverland 2. Did you hear the voicemail that he left? So they kind of started with the 93 trial. The first, that was 93, right? 93, 94?
So, yeah.
The first child abuse scandal, the first trial.
Jordan Chandler.
I think that's right, yeah. And this is when they showed the Michael Jackson. Remember, Michael Jackson did the statement, the public statement that he did on TV?
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, with the background where he goes, and they took photos of my penis.
I would never hurt. I love children. He had a really weird way of saying children.
I love children.
I love children.
Yeah, he had that ridiculous put on childlike voice.
Yeah.
But then that DC accent, that Baltimore accent would really kick in every
What's
now
going
and
on?
then.
Put your pants down. What's going on?
I love children. I'll never hurt a child.
Yeah, I love children.
There was something creepy about the way he was talking about how much he loved children.
Oh my God, was it creepy?
But he started calling Wade and Jimmy, so he hadn't spoken to Wade and Jimmy in a while because they were teenagers at this point.
14.
Yeah, which again, pretty suspicious when the friendships, it's just innocent friendships that really, once puberty hits, kind of go away.
Yeah, and then they know they've been replaced by the younger kid in the hat.
Just for more friendships.
He looks so cute in the hat.
I want to dress you like me.
Says, Jordan Chandler wants to come in.
Yeah, I'm in a put you in an Adidas jumpsuit. Roland Jackson.
Yeah. I'll put you in a Springsteen shirt and a track pants.
Yeah, I want you to wear shorts even in the winter. Fucking asshole. But so Michael started calling him again, especially Wade, because they really wanted Wade to be Michael's witness.
Sure.
Because they were like, look, this is the kid that was with me for years. He went on tour with me, did the whole thing, and he will testify on my behalf that I did not molest him. And so he started calling him like all the time and leaving him messages on the answering machine and whatnot. And they still have the messages.
Of course.
And this is what it sounded like from last night's doc.
Every day.
It's not Michael Jackson.
No, actually, that's a good point. It must be. Oh, you know what? It's Wade Robson explaining. Yeah.
Every day, he would call.
Friday, 3:12 p.m.
Gabby! It's Applehead. I was wondering maybe sometime tomorrow night we could see a movie. Be really nice. So I'll call you tomorrow. I'll sleep in tomorrow and then we maybe can do something. Thank you! Goodbye. Bye, little one.
Those are all his voices. What a fucking weird guy, man.
Well, he does have the gift with his voice.
Oh, you think so?
That wasn't him. That was a British guy.
You couldn't tell, right?
It was a British guy.
Like all of a sudden, Michael must have
Thank
handed.
you.
Fuck you. This is a guy who's traveled the world. He's got fans all over the world. If anybody can do accents,
It's him.
you would think it would be Michael. Fuck you, baby. We can do something. Like, what are you doing, Michael? Then he's doing a Cartman voice in the beginning.
Applehead. Is he calling himself Applehead?
Yeah, in the,
So I guess he was Applehead?
but he used to call in the faxes. He was calling Wade Applehead.
Or was he calling himself Applehead? Like,
Maybe he was trying to get some Applehead.
Yeah, exactly. So Steve Jobs.
Thank you. Thank you for hitting that, Jim. Giggling to himself, doing his voice.
He's having fun.
He is.
Calling his little boyfriend.
He is. But then there's something really creepy about the last voice he does. Because he does the Cartman voice in the beginning before Cartman even exists. Then he does the British voice. And then that one thing where he says, "Boy, Applehead." I'm like, whoa, where the fuck did that evil one come from?
He's just a strange guy.
He's a really weird guy, isn't he? Really weird.
Just a weird dude just doing lots of voices by himself.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Yeah.
Weird
Wants it-
things.
Likes
to
his
do.
nipples played with.
Exactly. Just a weird guy liking his nipples played with, trying to convince everybody that it's not molestation when you're a kid sometimes because it felt okay at the time.
No.
Oh, no.
What's up, Applehead?
You fucking do something.
Fucking do something. What are you doing? Oh, now.
Oh, my God. You know, if Jim Norton were a bigger celebrity, we could all supply tapes for the Jim. And then he started leaving us voice texts all the time.
Hello.
My wife is just sitting there giving her take on it. Yeah, when Sam and I got married, he kept threatening to object to the marriage, except it wasn't him objecting. It was somebody named Edgar.
Edgar.
Jim did a character that he said I was a woman of lower stock. And I didn't understand. I didn't know if it was his way of being closer to Sam. April Fools.
Wait, what did I want to say? It was something about Michael talking about the fucking. I don't remember.
What?
The children. I don't remember. God damn it. Something that hit me in part 2. I'll
Yeah.
think of it as we talk.
Well, part 2 was also where they started kind of putting the spotlight on the parents. And how did you guys put up with all this bullshit? And how did you, not know what was going on?
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
At one point, the woman was saying that he was talking about, I would never hurt a child, and she said he would get teary-eyed when he would talk about never hurting a child.
Yeah.
The mother. He probably believed that.
Yeah.
I bet you he's not. He was a guy who I think he was a pedo, and I think he loved kids, and he probably didn't look at it like he was hurting. I'm not defending him, but I'm saying like he probably thought that he just was in love with kids.
100%. Like,
I don't think he thought he was hurting kids.
Look at all these.
Doesn't make it right, but
NAMBLA assholes, these NAMBLA freaks that think they're sitting there going like, this
you
is.
said people wrong.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't mean to judge. They sit there and they go like, oh, it's love.
Yeah.
This is love.
I
And
would never hurt a child.
right.
Wants to just kiss a kid.
Because, yeah, these pedophiles, they sit there and they don't take into account that a child cannot give permission
Sure
to do
they
that.
can.
Okay.
Gonna be starting something. Yeah.
Uncle Paul is a new favorite musician.
Sure
Yeah.
I do. Yada da 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 da. Diddly do 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 do.
I think Uncle Paul was watching a couple concerts the last 2 nights on YouTube for
Sure
sure.
I was from Wembley.
Yeah.
The king of pop.
Did you unsubscribe to HBO?
Yeah, I did. Bunch of lies.
I see.
Those parents were good people.
I see.
Hello, it's Applehead calling. How are you?
Uncle Paul's British accent is significantly better than Michael Jackson's British accent.
Might be a call you tomorrow or do something. Goodbye, Applehead.
Sliding out of character.
I can't help it. Can't be starting something. Doodly do 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 do.
I don't think that guy's 100% right, but I think Jim is 100%
King of
right.
pop.
You think so?
Sure. Put your little hat on. Put your little wide-brimmed hat. Give you a kiss.
You ever dress up people like little Uncle Pauls?
Sure,
You do?
I did.
Okay.
I put the little Michael Jackson. I put the little epaulets in their shirt.
You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gel up their hair, get the curls going.
Yeah, and you put the little chain on the shoulder. Come here. Who's
Yeah.
a big little dancer?
Oh.
Let me kiss your
Don't do
fingers.
that. No.
Chocolate on them.
No.
Put your little glove on. Yeedly do 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 do.
Yeah. You like dressing them up like Smooth Criminal?
Sure, I
You
do.
You do. Okay.
Diddle-dun-dun-dun-dun, diddle-dun-dun-dun.
I'm telling you, man, all these lyrics feel very, very different all of a sudden.
Sure.
Unless you're Travis.
It hurts so bad. So bad.
That's so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm wiping spunk off the mirror.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's not even like an entendre or anything. It's just right on the nose.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you don't aim right.
Oh, God damn it. It's just,
Yeah.
you just say it. Just right out.
Sure.
Right, sure. Why
I'm going to
not?
sleep over 30 nights in a row. Hey, Kev, put the bells in the hallway.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, I mean,
That's so smart.
Uncle Paul, if there's no chicanery going on, why would a man need a trail of bells leading to their bedroom?
Well, you're having a party. I used to just set up a bunch of mouse traps. So somebody would come in their bare toes. Ow! I'd be like, get dressed. Put your trousers on.
As soon as you hear parents saying, ouch, my foot.
Yeah.
Time to go.
Yeah, everybody put your PJs on.
Wasn't anybody suspicious of a whole bunch of open mouse traps in front of your door?
Yeah, they were. And sometimes they would be suspicious as to, why is the feeding pot backwards, Paul? I don't know. He had a bad nightmare.
You had to make it better.
Yeah, I did.
I know you did.
Sure.
I know you did. Well, it's love.
Sure.
It's just some love.
Haley, do.
I know, you love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
PYT.
Right.
Yeah, pretty young testes.
That's not what the T stands for.
Sure it
No, it
is.
isn't. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. His sister Janet is on the song as a child.
PYT, pretty young testes.
No. No, we got to go into the rewrite room for this. We can't do a song.
Do. Bunch of lies they're spreading.
Get back into the writing room. You cannot do this song.
Bunch of
Testes.
lies.
No, I know.
HBO.
Right. You don't like that.
No, I don't.
Right.
Wonderful entertainer.
Right.
Sure.
I know. I mean, you even like the song Dangerous.
Yeah.
Right.
Put the little hat on.
Right.
Come on.
You put a fedora on him.
Yeah. Tell your parents to ride in the SUV.
You're right. When the kid rides with the parents in the SUV?
No, you don't.
No.
We'll ride in the fun car.
There's a fun car.
Sure. Candy for everyone.
Oh, that's it's weird.
God damn vitiligo on my penis.
Makes it so easy to spot, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
sure does. Old leopard penis, they call me. Should have put some makeup on it, Paul. I know.
Uncle Paul, you're mad at your vitiligo
Yeah,
penis?
sure I am. A damn calling card. They can see it from across the street. It's awful.
Just trying to tell these kids, don't talk about my vitiligo penis.
Yeah, keep quiet about that little birthmark. God damn it, give me a smooch.
Well, yeah, because if they don't keep quiet about it, you'll both get in trouble.
Choo
right?
choo.
Is that the Neverland train?
Everyone hop on a train.
Yeah, what do we do once we get to the train station?
We go up to the bedroom.
Yeah.
Everybody looks at the little markings.
Okay.
Give the marking a kiss.
No, you mean the vitiligo?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, connect the vitiligo dots.
No, you can't do that, Paul.
Yeah.
You can't.
Tweet Uncle P's nipples.
No, you can't. You can't.
Leedle.
You can't. You can't.
Poor young fellas.
That's amazing. It's amazing, but people are still in heavy denial that any of this is even possible. Like, you can't even explain why. What is it about post-pubescent children that you don't want to help? Why only prepubescent children? You know, why would you? Who would want to spend that amount of time around children? Who?
Just helping everybody.
I know you are, Paul. I know you're
helpful.
No, I know you're a helpful guy. But it's one thing to help.
Sure. But only kids without pubes.
Yeah.
That's the only kids that you want to hold hands with and hang out with. It's just weird.
And the girls don't need that much help. It's mainly the boys that need the help.
How the fuck did people fall for that?
And the sleepovers.
He didn't have a childhood. Who gives a shit?
It doesn't matter. I mean, R. Kelly was abused when he was a kid. It doesn't mean you can fucking kidnap girls and hold them hostage.
Right.
Like, have sex with underage girls and piss on them on video. You know, people have a responsibility, even if they come from abuse, to break the goddamn cycle. I mean, fuck.
Yeah, can't go tinkling on everyone.
Yeah, you can't. Especially if they're underage and you don't have their permission.
Right.
And by the way, And much to the chagrin of maybe people like Uncle Paul and NAMBLA idiots, if they're underage, they can't give permission. There's no love.
Sure they can.
No, they can't.
Everybody consents.
No.
Give me a hand.
No, it's not consensual. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. They're pretty convincing when you see them interviewed. But again, I didn't like that they didn't interview other people.
No, I didn't either.
I didn't like that nobody in the camp was there. It was just these two because they said what the documentary makers, they had the angle that the documentary makers wanted.
Right. I do agree, though. I mean, I absolutely believe their stories until somebody comes out and gives any kind of evidence as to why they're not true. Because that's the story that makes sense, right? Sometimes you just go down the path of least resistance. Like, otherwise, the other story you believe is he's just a man-child that likes to hang out with children all the time.
By the way, after Jordan Chandler's family was suing, the explanation he gave to the families of the other kids he hung out with was they're just after money and fame. And then these parents would still let him hang out with their sons. They would still allow it when the kids were now 11 or 12. These mothers were still letting their sons hang out with Michael even after a giant pedo accusation.
Yeah, accusation that was settled out of court for what could have been $20 million.
Yeah. Wade and his family went right back to Neverland.
Right back there. Look, it's one thing they go like, well, it would cost more money to try this case than it would to just settle. And that's usually true if it's not $20 million.
Yeah, if it's up to
how much are his goddamn lawyers charging that he's like, oh, I better just pay $20 million to avoid legal fees.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wade's family goes back to Neverland, and then they talk to Jimmy's mom. I thought this was very telling, and I think, too, that as Jimmy's mom was kind of explaining what happened in this instance, she realized that, you know,
sure,
she'd been duped the whole time.
My husband had already had a deposition. We were on Michael's camp. My son also, for Michael. And after that was all said and done is when Michael forgave the debt. Michael said, no, I don't want you to pay me anymore. It's a gift. So he did buy us a house. It's just coincidental. He wasn't buying us off, but the timing's right there.
Just a coincidence.
It just sounds bad.
I don't necessarily believe her.
You don't think he bought him a house?
No, I don't believe that she didn't know that that's what they were going to do.
Oh, 100%. I don't believe her that she thought it was a coinky dink.
Yeah.
She knew, even if she didn't want to admit it to herself, there's no way that as this trial is happening or right after the trial and you supported this guy and he goes, you know what? Let me just pay for your house. And you go, okay, you know what you're doing.
I think beforehand it was discussed.
Oh, you think he said...
Oh, no, it was not. It's one of those things where an attorney said, they said, look, Michael will loan you money for the house. Very low percentage. Maybe afterwards there's a way for him to forgive the... Yeah, I don't... It wouldn't be... Because why would he forgive it once it was already done?
And it's like, Michael would really appreciate the help. And he may actually be able to forgive some of this.
Yeah.
And show his appreciation that way.
Yeah, and he did.
Of
course you know.
You want the house, though.
You want the house.
And, I think that there is... When you're that far into denial...
Yeah.
You won't admit stuff to yourself.
These parents were awful. I know that they probably didn't mean it to be like that, but if you're letting your 7 or 10-year-old sleep in a bed with a grown man, you're shitty. I'm sorry.
And it's parents that want to be close to fame. That's what it is.
And he's a famous guy.
He's the most famous guy at the time.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't have let him go backstage or they shouldn't have let him go on stage and dance or hang out with the guy. But if you're a parent, you're not hanging out with your fucking kid. He's with a 35-year-old. You're shitty. Sorry.
And by the way, he's a 35-year-old that built an amusement park in his house and doesn't have any kids of his own. Fuck, what you got all the rides for, bro? What do you need all this stuff for?
Yeah. At least he married beautiful Debbie Rowe.
Just you mean the striking Deborah Rowe,
the mayor of Sixtown?
Yeah, they touch on that a little bit. That it was tough for the young boys because they had to realize that Michael wasn't going to hang out as much because first he married
Lisa Marie
Presley, and then when that didn't last, he fell deeply and madly in love with Debbie Rowe.
Yeah,
you could see moving on from Brooke Shields to Debbie Rowe, right?
Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. She looks like Scott Shannon.
Yeah. And then you look at these kids, man.
Wow.
These poor Michael Jackson kids And
That's the least believable family I've ever seen.
I mean, come on.
It looks like two white lesbians with adopted children.
Michael goes, I got vitiligo. That's the only thing. And then he gives birth to 3 white kids.
They're the whitest kids ever.
You're like,
Come
what
on.
are you talking about? You can't be. If you have vitiligo, it doesn't mean that you have white kids.
No, it doesn't.
This doesn't make any sense.
Have they ever been DNA tested, those kids?
I don't think that they would ever, that the families would ever allow that to happen. Because, and then they go like this. They go,
Oh my God, those are, come on.
what are you talking
How
about?
the fuck are those his kids?
They're not.
Jesus Christ.
And they show Little Blanket, Little Blanket with the long hair. And they go, well, Little Blanket looks just like Michael.
Maybe it's his.
Michael doesn't look like Michael. Little Blanket doesn't. Little Blanket should look like.
Let's see Little Blanket.
Little Blanket should look like Michael looked when he was a kid.
Are they all
not
dead?
as an adult? Michael as an adult is a constructed thing. That's not what Michael actually looks like.
And even if they're just his adopted kids, I mean, they are his kids.
Of
I mean,
course.
just like Brad and Angelina's kids are their kids. Yeah, that looks a lot more like him, though.
That
That really does look a lot more like him.
Way more like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think that there's Michael Jackson DNA in these kids.
In this one, there might be. To me, that he looks like him in the face.
Oh, look at that romantic photo.
Oh, yeah, him and him. That was like a meet and greet.
Yeah, I tell you this, Michael Jackson, you could tell. I mean, when he's the king of pop, you're gonna end up with a lady who wears crew neck sweatshirts out. Like that's of course. I mean,
look, he could have just fell in love with her and whatever. I mean, that doesn't. It's not that crazy, but
I don't think he did, Jim.
he probably loved her, but not in like I think.
He had love for her. Yeah, yeah,
but he trusted her, obviously.
well, yeah. That's when he was like, you know what?
Oh my God!
Come on.
How bizarre!
Just a fucking weird thing, man.
God, his kids look weird. I mean, I don't think they're his genetic kids,
I don't think so either.
except for maybe the young one.
I don't think the young one is his genetic kid
I don't
either.
know, but
I think there might be some Jackson DNA, maybe, but I don't think that they're his kids.
Paris is cute.
She's very cute.
She is.
I mean, it's got to be hard being Michael Jackson's children.
Oh my God! Can you imagine how much they've been through? Can you imagine?
And then this documentary comes out about your dad. I mean, it's brutal.
And they're sitting there, like the only people that they're counting on to give them the real skinny of what's going on is the extended Jackson family.
Sure.
You think LaToya is somebody that's trustworthy of being like, oh, don't worry, kids, let me tell you what's going on.
On some level, they have to wonder, is there any truth to this? Even if you're denying it to yourself, you have to wonder, like, is it, when you're alone, you have to wonder, like, oof.
What's he hanging out with these
Is that
kids?
true?
Yeah. Yeah. Especially when in this documentary last night, they're talking about the fact that by the time Michael had his own kids, she's not wearing a brassiere in that photo.
very
That's not.
cute.
Yeah, it is.
I'd love to date her.
Me too.
I'd be Team Michael.
You would.
The lies!
If you met Paris, would you let her know you
100%.
think this is all lies?
Yes.
But by the time he has kids, according to Wade Robson in this documentary, he's ignoring them.
Paris Jackson checked into a facility for mental health. I guess, again, that level of whatever it is.
Yeah, she was
just drives
diagnosed
you
with
crazy.
being. She was diagnosed with being Michael Jackson's kid.
Yeah.
That's what the problem was.
So many expectations, and everybody loves you just because of your dad, and now he's dead. So what does that mean? It's just got to be fucking
Also,
weird existence.
everybody loves your dad, and a lot of people also think that he was a pedophile too.
Yeah.
And also, there's a big documentary about it.
And everyone's saying that you're not. Come on. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ.
That's not Michael Jackson's kid.
That's not his DNA.
It's
I'm
not his
sorry.
DNA. I'm sure that, legally, we're not talking about legally. Genetically,
Yeah, genetically. That's what I mean. Yeah.
not his kid.
I know what you're saying. Yeah. It's just not.
No. So Michael Jackson, watch him singing like ABC Easy 1, 2, 3.
Ugh.
How come none of the kids look like that kid?
None of them have hair like him.
None of them have
They
faces
all have
like him.
straight white lady Debbie Rowe hair.
Yes. I believe that there's Debbie Rowe DNA in those
I do
kids.
too. A lot of it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows exactly
Maybe it was
right.
artificial insemination from someone else and they don't know.
Right. Who knows? But at 14 years old,
Because the mother's not that dominant. Like when you have when you have a mixed race children, it's not that 100% dominant from one.
especially to go
Except for the young kid, he looks like he could have. He looks much more like Michael in the face.
a little bit, but he looks Hispanic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, to go 3 for 3 on having non-black children. When the father, like, just because he has vitiligo, like,
That's
let's
right.
not forget,
That's right.
he's
His
a
DNA
black
is-
man.
That's right.
That's what,
Yeah, young Michael. That's right.
yeah, that's what you have to look at. Like, when I look at pictures of me as a 2-year-old, I go, oh, I look like my kid as a 2-year-old. You know? I have a 2-year-old kid. He looks like I looked when I was 2. Because the DNA is there. Not,
Right.
you know. Then have a big fucking awful beard.
Oh, when he hung his kid over the balcony, it was so crazy.
Ah, he
The
had a
thing
good,
over its head.
he had a good grip on it.
I'm sure he did. But
He
just
had a solid grip. Everybody trying to give the King of Pop a hard time for that.
with the thing over his head.
Look,
What a crazy.
if the worst thing Michael Jackson did to that kid is hang him over a balcony with a blanket over his head, then
Ugh.
good for Michael, because he did a lot worse to.
Blanket.
He did a lot worse. Is accused of doing a lot worse to Wade Robson and the gang. At 14, Wade went back to Michael's house, and this was the last sexual encounter that he talked about last night.
Wait, they're looking
Go
at
ahead.
these microscope Michael and Blanket when they were kids. Is there any? There's some similarity in that face.
They found
There's
a
definitely
photo.
similarities.
They found
What's
a
that?
photo of Michael and Blanket with some similarities.
There's
yeah.
a lot of photos of Michael and Blanket that
With
look-
similarities?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's his.
Okay.
Son.
Maybe they were like, you know what? People are onto us with the first two. We got it. We got to put some Jackson DNA in
I
this
just
kid.
think it looks like him in the face.
Right.
The shape of the face, and there's, I just think it's him.
Yeah, I could see it. So here's Wade talking about being 14 now and going and hanging out with Michael again because
We're
Michael. That's right. Because Michael befriended him. Because he needed people to testify in his behalf. Is what Wade Robson said.
Yeah.
And so I'm 14 at this point, and I've had a major growth spurt. I'm probably 5'11". So the same
Bragging
or
that you saw the
taller
movie.
than Michael.
Just guessing.
Just a whole different physical
Sure.
vibe. And at some point in the night, we slip back into the routine, the same sort of sexual stuff. And I don't remember how exactly it evolved to this, how it moved to this next stage. But what ended up happening is Michael tried to penetrate me in my anus with his penis.
We understood.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of extra details in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this, I had this part. I had a hard time believing.
Really?
I don't know why. Maybe the way he delivered it.
It's weird that this is the one thing that he doesn't remember the details on. He remembered details of being 5 years old and how he felt and blah blah blah. And then this is the one that he's some details are missing.
I just didn't like the way he delivered it. For some reason, it felt like he was being actor-ish. Like, and he put his penis. Like, this is how I'm supposed to look when I'm saying. It just didn't feel. There's something about his explanation that didn't feel right.
It's
I would
interesting.
bet that they told him to be as graphic as possible.
Right.
No, I know.
They said bring up if he did anything to your anal,
It
whatever.
wasn't the word. It was just the way he delivered it. I had a hard time.
Well, yeah,
believing
because it's not a natural thing to say.
it. Sure it is.
Well,
What?
not for all of us.
Dick, am I? Yeah, I mean, you just say it.
No, it's not.
Not mine. I'm just saying in general.
Right.
Are you?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they try it and it hurts and you stop.
You know what? I get why Jim's perspective on this has changed.
Sometimes you don't remember the details.
Because he goes like this. Here's how I would have said it. And he knows exactly how he would have said it.
You
'cause
just be in the hallway,
Here's how I say it.
trousers around your ankles, and they get pulled up and you don't remember what happened.
what hallway?
When Michael Jackson lived in Edison.
Was it the hallway? Did Michael Jackson in his house?
No, in the apartment complex hallway.
Michael Jackson lived in Edison? And then sometimes you just remember that the trousers were down and then they come up.
In the hallway on the stairs.
But you think it didn't go in.
You think.
But you don't know.
No, you don't.
Because you just remember the
Vaguely.
hallway.
And then pulling your trousers up.
You know you're loved, Jim, right?
Mhm.
Okay, good.
Sure he is.
No, that's not what I meant.
Poor toast.
Ah, poor toast. But here's and then,
Toast had his asshole buttered.
this is after the aftermath of that incident with Wade and what he just described.
I think I was picked up again by Michael's driver and brought to the dance studio where he was back in rehearsals. Right away, he just went right into it. He was kind of super nervous and said, "What did you do with your underwear from last night?"
Talking about Michael.
I don't know. I took them off and, showered and put new ones on. He said, "You got to go home and find them." And I don't know if there's any, there might be some blood on them. Oof. If there is, you got to get rid of them.
How long does it take you to get home?
Got back in the car and he drove me back to the condo, and luckily, not luckily, I guess my mother hadn't found them, hadn't tried to clean them or anything yet. I found the underwear and there was some drops of blood on the inside.
Your blood?
My blood. I grabbed them, so stuffed them in my pocket, down into the garage, and threw them in the bin.
I was worried he was going to say called the police.
That was.
By the way, he said that was the last time they had sex.
Yeah.
Was that experience?
Yeah. And it does match up with the other kid saying that when he got older, Michael would try, new things, different things.
Oh, the other kid said that too? I had tapped out before.
Yeah, in the first part.
Oh, okay.
The kid said that once he started getting older is when Michael started to just try to...
For anal? Okay.
Yeah. Try to get his fuck on and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and then they go on and it's clear, because you remember when the second child molestation trial came out, that's when it was the kid from the Martin Bashir interview.
What was that kid? That wasn't Joy. I don't remember who that kid was.
No, it was a different kid's name. I don't remember his name. But it was the first airing of the Martin Bashir interview. The kid's face was on it. And every airing after that, they had to blur his face out because he became the accuser and somebody who was a potential victim and everything. He was found. That's the one he was found not guilty of, though. Michael.
They actually went to trial?
They went to trial and he was found not guilty on that one.
Yeah.
And Wade was the first witness that the defense called, that Michael called up.
Is this the trial they're talking about that he helped for the house, or is this a different one?
No, this is the second
it's a different
trial.
one because Jimmy didn't testify in the second one.
Right.
Why?
So Jimmy
He didn't want to.
Jimmy said he was over it. He didn't want to do this anymore.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe because Michael wasn't hanging out with him as much?
No more houses to pay off.
Right. They already had the house.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you want? Another house? What are you going to get? Right. At this point, you're like, look, I have the house. I'm now an adult, so Michael doesn't want anything to do with me because apparently he wants to help children, not adults. So
didn't he help him with his career?
No.
The one guy said he helped me with my career. He helped me one guy.
Well, he promised, and this is very manipulative, I think. He told Jimmy, he's like, Jimmy, you're going to be a filmmaker. And he did. When he's a teenager, he helped him make short films, and he was doing films at Neverland.
So he was going to be a young Spielberg. The whole thing. But he said, don't go to school, don't go to college, don't get educated. You don't need any of that. I'm going to help you out, blah, blah, blah. But as Jimmy started getting older, Michael wasn't around anymore. So he didn't end up helping him with anything. And then since he didn't have the education, Jimmy felt lost. Yeah.
Because Michael had manipulated
him
and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there was, this was when Jimmy said he wasn't going to testify.
I was kind of breaking, having a nervous breakdown.
For 2003 or whatever it was.
And I didn't want to be involved. And so I told my mom then that he wasn't a good person and that I don't want them involved. So that was tough. I didn't talk with her really about it. I couldn't talk about it. I just said enough to not get them involved. And she never pushed.
Of course. Why would you push?
Why would you when you realize you fucking let your kid get molested because you wanted to stay in a suite?
Right. Yeah, you could sit there and live in denial. If I don't push, if I don't ask any follow-up questions...
It's not my fault.
It's not my fault,
I'm
right?
not a piece of shit.
I'm still okay.
He never said it.
He's over here saying, you know that guy that bought our house and took us on tour and was my best friend and was a family friend? He's the one I slept with, the grown man. He's not a good person. And you're like, okay, look. I'm not going to ask any follow-ups. I'll just take your word, And how great is this house, huh? How great is this house?
I still think Michael was trans.
You do?
Uh-huh.
Do you think that this was all like part of the fact that he couldn't deal with that?
Maybe he didn't know it. Thank you. Maybe he didn't know it.
Or do you think that you just add that onto all this stuff?
I don't know. It's all that fucking facial feminization.
It is a lot of feminization.
It's a lot different than just changing things, the thinning nose. Those are all like surgeries that trans girls get. Like that's just what I told you. Somebody said that to me, and it hit me. I was like, oh, that's exactly, I think, what he was.
And doesn't he do hormone stuff for his voice?
That I don't know.
Well, he kept his voice high.
Yeah.
You know, that certainly feminized his voice.
Yeah. The hair.
Straightening it and
just,
like
a woman.
feathering it.
Like a woman.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and then as you get towards the end of the thing, Wade talks about the last time he hung out with Michael, and that's because you remember in 2003 is when all the stuff about Jesus juice and drinking wine and all that stuff came out, and that really wasn't addressed when they talked about Wade and Jimmy's experiences. But Wade says when he went back as an adult and hung out with Michael for the last time, Michael was, asking him to bring wine and drinking wine nonstop and almost catatonic. He was just not there anymore. He was all drugged up and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
Just not present. Yeah.
How old was Jimmy then?
No, this is Wade.
How old was he then?
He was an adult.
Oh, he was. Okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't sexual anymore. He was an adult. But I think Michael just wanted to keep him on his side because this was after the 2003 trial when, at this point, Wade is now just one of these kids that is now an adult that it can be there to defend Michael.
And so they were still friendly.
Oh, yeah. Up until Michael died, they were friendly.
Even if Michael didn't want to fuck him anymore, they still knew each other.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Wade was in love with him. This is after...
Oh, yeah, he was in love with him,
Wade's married at this point. Wade's married. And he's still like, whatever you need, Michael. He just wants to...
be around him.
He wants to be around him.
And you can't... it doesn't even make you gay if you're that young and somebody molests you and you fall in love. That's probably pretty common.
Well, yeah. And I mean, that's why kids can't... One of the many reasons why kids can't give consent, because you fucked up Wade Robson, if this is all true. You completely confused him and completely fucked him up. Corey Feldman released a statement after this whole thing, which is it's good.
Well, I mean, he knew him, so
yeah, he was one of the original. I'm going to dress up like Michael Jackson. I mean, he's still dressing up like Michael Jackson.
No, I don't know, because Corey is pretty honest about people molesting him.
Yeah,
but could it be that this is so awful that the memories of Michael are so awful that you just can't because
the trust was broken so badly?
In your own mind, you don't want it to be that.
It's possible because these kids, it was idol worship for Michael Jackson, So there's got to be a heavily broken trust. But he said on Twitter, he decided to throw cap locks on, and he said on Twitter, "Okay, I watched it all. I know. Okay, there's no punctuation here. This is just. Did he go full Boschetti?
Yep.
Oh.
HAD.
No, you never go full Boschetti.
That's from a movie. It's
Oh, my mistake.
Yeah,
I didn't mean
Tropic Thunder.
I didn't mean to lift that. Yeah. Okay, I watched it all. I know is what. Okay. This is really difficult. Okay, I watched it. All I know is what I experienced, and yes, every experience was the same right up to the sex part. That's where it becomes La La Land instead of Neverland for me. We never spoke about sex other than a few warnings about how sex was scary and dangerous. I mean, Michael warning that sex is scary and dangerous to kids, that's fucked up.
I kind of believe Corey, though.
I don't not believe him either.
I kind of believe him.
But there is, I mean, we talked about this yesterday. There is that version of this where he wasn't fucking the famous ones.
Yeah,
right?
I believe that. Yep.
And maybe he still wanted to have that sort of sexual power over him.
Or maybe he just liked hanging out with it because he liked him.
Right.
It's like a girl who, it was like Hot Dog and Angie.
Right. But think about it this way. When you are when you're friend zoned by a girl, right? What do you do when they start introducing the guys that they like?
When you're friend zoned,
you insult them, right?
Yeah.
Like you go like, oh, he's not good for you. No, you don't want to date him. Because even if you know that you're not going to be able to date this person. So Michael said...
Well, I'll actually tell the girl, I'm like your brother. I'll say to the guy, don't hurt her.
Oh, good. Good. Every girl needs a strong white knight.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'll just say to the girl, I'm like, if you ever need it, you can always talk to me.
That's good. There's nothing that screams integrity more than that quality, is there?
You can talk to me if you need it. He's no good for you.
Right. He can't talk to you. He doesn't understand you.
Yeah, he's not going to give you a real relationship. You deserve better.
Right.
Hey, she's like my sister. Don't hurt her.
Right. And what's great is like the guy that she's dating, they never know. Like they always go like this. Oh, I guess they're just brother and sister. I'm sure that guy's not completely in love with her and just won't say anything.
Yeah, I know he's like fucking 5'11" and in great shape, but he's no good for you. Dude, it's no good. He's just sleeping with a bunch of different girls.
Who wants that, right?
Yeah, I mean, you deserve a guy who would focus all of his love on you.
We've all been there, haven't we?
You bet we have. But I found off the subject, I was going through a bunch of old stuff. Like I save everything, and I'm finding notes that girls gave me in 1986.
For somebody with so many repressed memories, it's ironic how much stuff you saved.
I've saved everything.
Yeah,
like I save ever since that one little girl moved away. I have saved everything. I have every note the girl ever gave me from like even from 6th grade.
It's amazing.
Back and forth with girls. Yeah, I was trying to give them advice.
Oh no,
wasn't good.
What kind of advice?
Just suck it.
What?
That's all I knew. No, I gave him advice on boy. I don't remember, but it was just.
Are the notes embarrassing?
Not, I mean, in a way, but no, because I was so young. It's like, come on.
A lot of I like you as a friend notes.
Well,
no, thank you.
Well, they would go back like, no, thank you.
No,
oh,
thank
God,
you.
yeah. They would go back and forth. You know, back then there was no text. It was like literally, it was text.
Mm-hmm.
It would go, you pass the note back and forth, and you'd have a history on a piece of paper.
Folded up in a little football.
No, but they were folded up because you'd pass them in class.
Yeah, that was the best.
You talking about notes just reminded me. I must have been a sophomore in high. It was either freshman or sophomore in high school.
Fresh or soft.
That's right. And there was this girl in my science class that I had a crush on.
Ooh, sounds challenging.
And I was like thinking in my head, I'm going to write her a long note declaring my feelings for her, which I think would have been the best case scenario,
Sure.
right? I mean, girls love that.
A long note, yeah.
Chemistry.
Because I didn't even really talk to her. So just to spring on her, hey, this is what I think about when you're not around. People like that.
Yeah.
But you know what happened was, I think she kind of gave me an in because we were lab partners at one point, and she just took my notebook and she opened to an empty page and she wrote her name like in big letters on the empty page. And I was like, oh my God, like clearly there's something going on here, right?
She's telling me something.
Right.
It means something.
So you know what I did?
What?
I sat quietly for the rest of the year. It's just terrified. I was like, nope.
Had you given her the note?
No, I didn't write a note. I said, oh my God, I think that maybe there's some reciprocal feelings here. And then I just completely shut down and didn't do anything about it.
What a fucking dweeb. I mean, I was no better, but still, what a dweeb.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, nothing. Not a goddamn thing. I didn't even make eye contact with her after that.
Just fucking oiled up his Bunsen burner and sat on it.
It's a fear of rejection because now you know this might actually happen. Oh my God. I'm going to let this exist in my head and never escape. Never escape.
It is the same reason so many people do not pursue their dreams. It is the fear of losing the daydream. It is the fear of losing the fantasy.
That's right. That's right. Somehow that didn't come up when the topic of hosting a show with you came up.
You were just thrilled to do it. Yeah, TTBH, you would say.
What does that mean?
Thrilled to be here.
Oh, God.
Little gas snuck out. Sorry.
Well, you're in a good mood.
It was a pre-egger.
That's okay. You got to clear out some space, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, I get it. But the reason why I bring up the friend zone thing is because I feel like Michael saying to Corey, sex is scary and dangerous is Michael's way of saying, like, look, I'm not going to fuck this famous guy from the Goonies. I'm not, that's stupid, but I'm going to convince him that sex is bad, so at least I know he's not going to fuck anybody else. You know, maybe. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Troy, you weren't able to concentrate on my statement. What happened?
Tim keeps farting.
I see. Corey Feldman Olsen.
I just did one. It was in the spirit of this discussion.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, but telling him sex is bad could also be because he knew Corey wouldn't fuck him. So he might have just wanted to say things like give the appearance of being this good guy.
Right, right.
Is it bad?
It's terrible.
Are you
before?
Are you grossed out by what we're talking about, or
Jim's fart?
the gas?
It was only one. It just snuck out.
It's bad. Jim.
Did it creep out?
Sorry.
Are you sorry?
Yes, I am.
Good for you. Corey Feldman continues, never once swore in my presence, never touched me inappropriately, and never ever suggested that we should be lovers in any way.
I believe Corey.
I feel like if people could hear our convos, they would know, they would hear the innocence in them.
Was
No
Corey
hint of
cute
perversion.
as a kid, though? Maybe he didn't. Michael just wasn't attracted to him.
He was a cutie pie as a kid.
Yeah, he was cute.
I mean, he was Mouth, right? He was Mouth on.
Yeah,
Goonies,
I
right?
still think that this is like a famous thing.
I
Maybe.
do too.
Or maybe it's not true.
And I think that he was telling him that sex is scary because if he can't have sex with him, he doesn't want Corey to have sex with anyone.
That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
yeah, he was a cute kid, but I don't know,
I think Travis and me are on the same page here, which is terrifying.
like I
for
said,
me.
I wish it was the obituaries.
That's very funny, actually. That's it's very, very quick. It's a little journalism joke, a little publication joke. But yeah, so I mean, he goes on and on and on and on and on. But Corey is clearly saying this is bullshit. But he is
But
very,
also, later on in that statement, there's a little sour grapes.
it's true. He is careful to say that these were not my experiences, not my experiences. He's not necessarily calling anybody liars. He says, given the, this is where he says, this is one of his tweets. Given the opportunity, which he certainly had with me and others being alone with no parents around, how did he control those urges so well? He's giving himself a lot of credit here.